Hello and welcome to Just a Minotaur. Joining me today are four of the cosmos's most linguistically talented and capable people. Unfortunately, they're in a different studio, and so I have Taylor, Rob, Becca and Rodney joining me today. Please give them a warm welcome and thank you very much for tuning in from wherever you are around the world or perhaps even across the plains as we play Just a Minotaur. So, for those of you joining us for the first time, the rules of the game are you will speak for a minute on a subject that appears on the screen down there without any hesitation, repetition, or deviation. Of course, the fellow contestants will be able to interrupt you, and if they do so, they'll collect a point. If the interruption is invalid, you gain a point. The person speaking when the buzzer goes off also gains an extra point, and that's it. So, with no further ado, let's get on to our first round. The first round is going to be Taylor with the subject of MySpace. Tom is my Warlock Patron. Taylor, you have 60 seconds starting now.
Gather round and let me tell you the tale of how MySpace Tom became my Warlock Patron. It was a cold day in June in 1389, which I think is when we had MySpace, but I'm not entirely sure. It's been a minute. And then here it is in the inbox. It was Tom, MySpace Tom, my Warlock Patron. Not yet, though. I had to click accept. And I thought about it for a while. I don't know MySpace Tom, and I've never had a Warlock Patron. I'm only 8 years old, or I think it was 12.
Hesitation right there.
That was.
I tried to tell the truth, and it got me.
The truth will set you free. That is a wonderful, wonderful interruption, Becca. Thank you so much. With a correct interruption by the rules of Just a Minotaur, that gives you 1 point, and the subject will transfer across to you, Becca. MySpace Tom is my Warlock Patron starting now.
Once you have accepted MySpace Tom as your Warlock Patron, you become a friend of Tom. And with that, gets a whole plethora of benefits behind it. You not only get your top 8 friends, but you get to choose your music of the day that represents you in a whole layout as you represent and carry out.
Repetition of the word represent.
That is a valid challenge, Rob. You're absolutely correct. That is a correct challenge by the rules of Just a Minotaur. So with 3 seconds in, sniping in at the last point is Rob with the subject, MySpace Tom is my Warlock Patron, starting now.
This is why MySpace Tom is my Warlock.
Speaking as the buzzer goes off, Rob, you gain a bonus point on the subject. We will leave that to the Eldritch mysteries to be unveiled in the next episode. Marvelous. Thank you very much. As we come to the second round. And
we're all out of time. I win.
Well, our second contestant is going to be Rob with the subject of Satanic Panic. I would like you to talk for 60 seconds with no hesitation, repetition, or deviation, starting now.
Back in the 70s and 80s, when the game of Dungeons and Dragons was coming about as a... the word is escaping me. Damn it. Brain failed me!
You panicked!
What is your
It was the devil.
interruption?
Damn you, Satan!
What a hesitation that was.
That was
I had
a
a
poignant
word for it,
pause.
and I was like, nope, it's gone.
It's gone. The devil.
It is
Obviously.
absolutely stolen away by the devil, and that is also stolen away with the wonderful point. The subject is with you, Becca, of Satanic Panic.
I thought you were
with
calling
50
me
seconds.
the devil for it.
Wow.
I would-
Tell us if you're the devil.
I
Tell
would
us entrapment.
You do.
I would refuse to comment under my lawyer's instructions. However, Asmodeus says his check is in the post. Now, on that note, with 50 seconds remaining for you, please take us on the journey of Satanic Panic starting now.
See, my dear friend Rob was actually incredibly incorrect. Satanic Panic was not around that particular time. And actually, it's surprising, but Satanic Panic is actually about Satan being panicky. Okay, fine.
I am looking forward to the Satan Xanax story, but we'll come back to that as Taylor. What is the nature of your interruption by the rules of just
This is a big moment for me because I'm never good enough at listening to catch anybody ever. So this never happens. I heard actually 2 times.
Oh, beautiful! Very nicely done.
This is the last time I'm going to catch anybody, so just let me.
I was really excited, Taylor, because I thought you were going to pull her up on repeating Satanic Panic, and I was like, that's in the rules. They're allowed to repeat. So I was really excited for you to be like, I caught a repetition. And then it was
no, Roblin, I've made that mistake already a few times.
Rob, what a wonderful interjection. That has happened before and it will happen again. And with a correct challenge, Taylor, we are with you with the subject of Satanic Panic with 38 seconds left on the clock starting now.
Satanic Panic is actually how I got into D&D because my mom was an active occultist and she thought that maybe if I'd started playing D&D, it would bring me closer to the devil, which was something we were working on at my house. And we weren't really making it. We weren't sacrificing enough goats. We weren't catching enough people in the neighborhood.
Oh, Becca, what is the nature of your interruption?
I didn't hit the button.
Oh, sorry, Rob. I'm so sorry.
We're very similar. We're very similar.
Rob and I are
both of you charming, urbane, intelligent, and on this show. So that makes you very, very similar. Yes, absolutely. So, Rob, the nature of your interruption.
Individual words were repeated, but I was going to let them go until entire phrases were repeated. We weren't even blah blah blah. We weren't even blah blah blah. We weren't.
Whoa!
That is a wonderful challenge, and by the rules of just a Minotaur, as Rob correctly is alluding to, little words you can repeat a few times, and most people let you get away with it. But repeating of phrases or just using kind of like them as a template will quite reasonably get you interrupted, as has happened to Taylor. And so, with 18 seconds remaining on the subject of Satanic Panic, has returned to Rob, starting...
Rob returns to the devil from whence he came.
Come back to me.
Starting now.
Satanic Panic is a word for the error. I had time to think about it as well, and I was like, words are not doing well for me.
Oh, how marvelous! And Becca, what is the hesitation of your interruption? I mean, the nature of your interruption.
I think you already know.
We already know.
Indeed so. As a correct interruption, the subject on with 12 seconds returns to you. Satanic Panic. Ready? Go.
Let us return to where Satan panics because he has OCD. Little things like making sure you hit the doorbell button so many times, or that you've forgotten your laundry and put it into the washer but didn't move it.
And speaking as the buzzer goes off, and also with a great deal of empathy and a copy of the DSM-5 discussing Satan, we have Becca, who has correctly scored an extra point for speaking as the buzzer has gone off. And that is a wonderful moment for us to just take a second and ask you to please hit the subscribe button down there, or follow a podcast, or take a moment and Google our wonderful contestants and maybe throw them a follow, or just don't and enjoy this free content.
The devil.
Now, on that note, our next subject is I remember where I was when the great cataclysm happened. And you don't have to use all of the words. You can use any of those words. But that is also part of perhaps the narrative you're about to tell us. Becca, you're in our lead position at the moment. And so with the subject of I remember where I was when the great cataclysm happened, I would like you to talk for 60 seconds starting now.
I cannot wait to tell you when the Great Cataclysm happened. I was back at a young age of 7 at the Black Squirrel Parade. They were all dancing out front down the line of a street, twirling little batons and tiny flags, when all of a sudden, high up into the air, a giant ball of fire came down and the squirrels scattered everywhere. All their instruments were going left and right, trumpets, trombones, drums blown to pieces. There was a giant fire that burned the streets black as the squirrels themselves.
Robert, I feel
the
that
word squirrels. For the third
yes,
time.
I feel that you were. I think that definitely is not a squirrely
Did fire
challenge.
happen more than once?
Fire also, I believe, may have happened
Giant
more
was
than once.
also repeated.
I couldn't remember.
Well,
I was
very
too
kind to give you such
interested
space.
in the narrative.
But
It was so good.
I too was lost in that moment of revelry.
Enraptured.
But
I wanted to
Rob,
know what they did.
Robert was not, and was more than happy to correct us on a correct interruption. And so, as a result, with 4 points, you have 21 seconds on the subject of I remember where I was when the Great Cataclysm happened, starting now.
I remember where I was when the Great Cataclysm happened. I was in a great tree, having tea with some squirrels. And then a big fire came down from the sky and started to burn the leaves and the branches.
And with squirrels,
Just take on the persona of someone who speaks really slowly, and then you can do hesitation.
That's the move. I just
was
speed
wondering-
up because I get stressed.
I was wondering if the ye olde miner character was going to come out in some way. Robert, it certainly did. How wonderful. So there's an extra point for you for speaking as the buzzer went, leaving us
coming
just to
for you,
quickly review
Becca.
the scores.
No!
Robert, in fact, has
I give up now. As soon as I've
surged.
lost, I see the writing on the wall.
Oh, I see how it is. Well, as the subject goes to Rodney, the subject is going to be Why I Love My Ranger, with 60 seconds starting now, Rodney.
I just want to tell y'all why I love my Ranger, why you should love your Ranger. I mean, look, it's got 2 blades, got a panther, can run through the woods, and does it with dexterity and speed, agility. It's hard to find, can find other people. It's pretty much the best.
Taylor, you have a
Find.
challenge.
Find.
Oh,
Repetition of
yes,
find.
indeed. A correct challenge. Taylor, it's over to you with
Dang it.
39 seconds. Rodney, a wonderful start, and hopefully we'll get an opportunity to hear the rest of your story as told by R.A. Salvatore. And Taylor, the subject comes to you of Why I Love My Ranger. 39 seconds starting now.
Hello, I've been forced to tell you why I love my Ranger, which is the only character archetype that I have never played. I've seen them, I know about Rangers, and at the end of the day, I think it would be great to love my Ranger if I'd ever had the chance to have one. I guess I should hurry up and start making one now. It's just that I don't actually know.
Robert interrupted, much to Taylor's shock.
This feels like an entire 40 seconds of deviation. It's just and hesitation. It's just like rolled into one.
But what is your specific challenge? I would like a specific
Hesitation.
thing to tell us.
Hesitation is the there was stalling. I think if that is a
There was
an option.
definitely some stalling and deviation. However, in this particular case, I am going to give the benefit of the doubt to Taylor, as she's never played a Ranger before, it seems. And as a result, at some point in the future, I will return that favor back to you, Robert. But at the moment, Taylor, that is an incorrect interruption. And so the subject remains with you for a further 9 seconds starting now.
It's Sunday, and this is why I love my Ranger, because my ignorance saved me again, and they have bows and arrows and sometimes cats, and I like all those things.
Very very nicely done. And speaking as the buzzer went, Taylor, you get a additional point, bringing you back into the game. We've just finished our first major round. So our next round will begin with going back to Taylor, who is currently tied in second place. The subject will be my favorite spell component with 60 seconds on the clock. Taylor, start us now.
My favorite spell component is tiny glass bead because it's weird. Why do you have a tiny... I told it myself.
Wait, why do you have a tiny? Just leave it like that. Why is it tiny?
You can see the terror in your eyes as you went, oh no, I can't repeat glass bead. What am I going to say? And then you went, oh shit, I've already repeated tiny. And then you went, oh shit, now I'm hesitating.
I was like, someone please just hit the rope.
Yeah.
And Becca, it is not the size of your spell; it is the motion of your somatic component. Now, on that particular moment of wisdom, however, that is an absolutely correct.
This has never happened to me before, you guys.
I promise.
I've been interrupted, I'm afraid. But
my patron didn't say there was anything wrong.
MySpace Tom. Now, with 51 seconds remaining on the clock, the subject of my favorite spell component is with the devil herself. Becca, continuing this round, go.
My favorite spell component is sticks. Well, our sticks on that end. No.
Done my pedantry.
No.
The semantics.
I believe repetition is the grounds under which
it's
challenging.
Adhering to the rules of grammar and sadly transgressing the rules of just a Minotaur. You are absolutely correct, Rob. That is a correct challenge on your part as you leap into 6 points. The subject of my favorite spell component is with you with 44 seconds remaining, starting now.
My favorite spell component would have to be the one for the cantrip Minor Illusion. For that spell...
Oh, Rodney, in with what I believe is a...
No, sir, go ahead.
Tell me.
A little bit of a hesitation there.
Yes.
As we were getting ready to get into the illusion.
Just a perfect challenge from somebody who's playing the game for the first time, and absolutely right. Just the right amount of hesitation to move beyond the benefit.
I was like, if I can put in some pauses, that'll stretch out the time without being so long that it's a hesitation. But I overdid it.
I wanted to get to you. I did, but I had to do it.
Yeah, man, you called it right. I overplayed my hand. I felt it.
Rob is such an articulate and capable player of this game, but Rodney, you correctly caught him out, and that is a point to you with 35 seconds remaining on the clock of the subject, my favorite spell component. Please take it away, Rodney, starting now.
With my favorite spell component, I'm going to go a completely different direction and talk about my arcane focus. For me, it's a glass orb that's full of sticks, beads, pearls, leaves, squirrels, snakes. MySpace Tom actually has a picture inside of my arcane focus, and I use it to deliver the most amazing...
Taylor with a challenge with 13 seconds left on the clock. What is your challenge by the rules of just?
Was that 2 arcane focuses?
It is, in fact, a correct pickup of the fact that there were 2 arcane focuses, which is not...
I am getting my listener badge tonight.
It is a wonderful interruption by you, Taylor. Thank you so much. And with 13 seconds left on the clock, the subject of my favorite spell component is starting now.
Hello, everyone. My favorite spell component is still glass bead, and you can get one now by calling 3216. I don't want to say any more numbers in case I mess this up.
This is the longest we're dialing international.
3216-0457-899.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I was like, I can't say more than this. I'll say them again. You gotta know your.
I love that you buy yourself like 2 seconds at the start of everyone by going, "Hello, everyone, and welcome to the topic which I am going to be discussing."
Yeah, that's my new strategy.
Beginning now.
Well,
Start with your name and your backstory, then get into it.
Good evening and welcome.
We're all trying
you really gotta know.
Every time you do, I'm like, it's not repetition, it's not hesitation.
well, it's deviation technically. Yes,
You're not
indeed.
used to welcome.
It is a deviation technically. So if one were to find a few
seconds every next time,
if one were to establish,
I'm not allowed to greet my audience.
Well, your audience,
then it would be repetition because you've done it before.
Oh no, this doesn't count.
Oh, new round, right?
New round. Okay, so as we go to our next round, the subject is with Rob, and for 1 minute, I would like Rob to talk to us about lay on hands. Try and keep it clean with 60 seconds starting now.
Lay on Hands is an ability in 5th edition D&D that the class of Paladin gets. It is a type of feature that gives you the ability to cure wounds.
Oh, Becca!
He was kind of holding that moment out a little bit. That's the hesitation.
Well, a little bit earlier we did give the benefit of the doubt, I believe, to Taylor, and so I'm going to return the favor to Rob.
Rob is about to get hands laid on him.
Indeed, perhaps an intervention.
Lay on these hands.
As what I said, divine intervention. I will return the subject back to Rob, but if at some point in the future, Becca, I can give you the benefit of the doubt, I certainly will. And Rob, the subject remains with you 48 seconds.
Can I ask a clarification of rules? Am I now allowed to repeat words that I'd said in the first part or not?
You are not allowed to repeat words you've already said. You can.
Activate that memory, baby.
You may.
Yeah.
Right.
Gotcha.
As 48 seconds starting now.
Lay on Hands allows the person doing it to cure the wounds of people who are wounded, and therefore, I
Rodney,
was like, can I get away with wounds and wounded?
you can.
I think wounds was said twice there.
I said wound and wounded, wounds and wounded. I didn't know if root words counted.
He did say wounds and wounded. So I also was my ears pricked up, I'm afraid. So that is a correct challenge. Sorry, it's an incorrect challenge, I'm afraid, by the rules of just a minute or so.
Incorrect.
So as a result, Rob, the subject remains with you, and you get an extra point. Lay on hands, 38 seconds, starting now.
The greatest benefit of this feature is that it does not require a spell slot. So if you have used all of your smites to cause extra damage to your opponents, you can still get your allies to their feet using Lay on Hands. Lay on Hands comes in a pool of 5 hit points per level of your class, and so you have quite a lot of them by the mid-game. The other thing about fuck, I was like, I'm such
like half moment. And I'm like,
but not quite. Like I'm testing that boundary, aren't I? Testing that boundary.
Beck with a challenge at 7 seconds remaining on the clock. What is your challenge by the rules of just a minute?
I'm going to push that out as hesitation, just long enough in a series of moments that we're buying time.
I think that's a very fair challenge. And so with 7 seconds left on the subject of lay on hands, Beck, go.
The greatest benefit of lay on hands is actually laying on hands. You get to touch people.
A perhaps timely interruption for the end of the round there.
Because where was that going?
I'm lonely.
Indeed. We can leave all conversations about this straight until next time.
Someone.
I need a hug, okay? Sorry, where are you all thinking?
Why? everybody.
High fives? Come on.
Our minds were in the gutters staring at the stars. What can I say?
We really could go for a high five right now.
100%.
So, however, you did get an extra point for speaking as the end of the round happened, which is going to then move the subject, in fact, over to you, Beck, with the subject of the Eye of Vecna. 1 minute to speak continuously without hesitation, deviation, or interruption, starting now.
One of the most prized possessions is the Eye of Vecna. Now, while it provides a plethora of powers, what is truly capturing, mesmerizing,
Taylor with more of a rescue than an interruption, one might say. What is the nature of your challenge, just for the pro forma?
Well, the thing is I don't know if that's a word.
Yeah, I think it's deviation from the English language, indeed. So, certainly capturizing is the moment correctly.
It was a capturizing performance.
Capturizing the point is our very great Taylor. With the subject of the Eye of Vecna, Becca, I'm sure we'll come back to you. Taylor, 48 seconds starting now.
It was a dark and stormy night when I looted the Eye of Vecna all by myself without the aid of my team/party. I put it into my bag, and that is where it began to seep all the way through my notebook and into a donut that I was holding for at least 13 days because this was a long journey. We traveled...
Robert, you have a challenge by the rules of just a minute. What's the nature of your challenge?
I want to know about this poor donut.
Pretty sure deviation would class as not discussing the Eye of Vecna at all, and instead discussing a book and bag and donuts and journeys.
I feel that is a fair interruption, although we started with the experience of looting the Eye of Vecna, we sort of rapidly moved on to pastries. So I feel that that's a valid interruption. I'm not giving the point to you, Taylor. I'm giving the point to Rob, so let me fix that up. And as the subject of the Eye of Vecna with 24 seconds remaining in this round goes to Rob, starting now.
The Eye of Vecna, alongside the Hand of Vecna, is one of two legendary items of an ancient god and or demigod of the D&D pantheon called Vecna, who is a god of secrets and lies, deceptions.
How many times do we get to say the word? Oh, balls. Okay, sorry.
God.
How many times do you get to say the word balls? Or God, Rodney, it was a correct interruption, and that is absolutely right. Becca, I think, was trying to answer on your behalf and giving you.
I appreciate you, though.
We're friends. We're friends.
A hand
I'm just
up.
trying to get up on this board. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed.
As soon as I said God, I was like, oh crap. Just keep moving, they might not notice.
Well, notice they did, and with getting a point for that interruption, with 8 seconds left on the clock, we go to Rodney with the subject of the Eye of Vecna, starting now.
The Eye of Vecna belonging to the Lord of Spiders, God of Shadows, just a good guy altogether.
Neither of those things.
Just a good guy all around.
I was like, am I allowed to buzz for just straight up lies and incorrect truths?
Deviation from
I've been
D&D
lying
lore.
about everything today.
Deviation from D&D lore, I suppose. Yeah,
That's how we're supposed to do it.
No,
You're
absolutely
the only
right.
one actually offering D&D facts.
Yes,
That is accurate.
indeed, correct.
That is
How do you
accurate.
think I would otherwise speak? This is all I've got.
Hey, that donut was my ration.
Well, the donut was actually, it was the vessel by which you carry the Eye of
Was it-
Vecna safely.
Yeah, was it a ring donut and the eye was plopped in the middle? Like a donut hole?
Yeah,
was
a
it
little
one of
bit.
those sitting
It was
donuts?
like a Faraday cage for.
I'm going to be
the Eye of
completely
Vecna.
honest with you. It was a donut from here, and they are not round.
Wait,
Huh?
They're
They
not
have long
round.
donuts?
what
Yeah.
are their donuts shaped like?
Finger donuts.
They're like
Like a maple bacon, but
like
like a
parallelograms.
Parallelograms?
Yeah.
Those can
I
look
was
like
gonna-
anything. That doesn't
I was gonna lie. I was gonna lie to save myself, but I told the truth. They are parallelograms, sort of.
I mean, that's
Isn't it?
That's
A parallelogram's like a stretched out rhombus, right?
Yeah.
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 Well, the rhombus
Kind
is
of,
a type
how
of
kind
parallelogram.
of, it's like,
Yeah,
is
yeah,
it
it's like a
longer
square, it's
or
tough rectangle,
wider?
yeah.
A rectangle that has been
It can be
shifted a little.
both. You never know what you're gonna get.
Do they not have molds? They're like, we're just gonna put these everywhere.
They do not.
Also, parallelograms are two-dimensional. So what does it look like in the third dimension?
Oh
Is it
my gosh.
rounded on the sides? This is what you wanted from your
yes
show,
and
Ramsey.
no. Yes and no.
No, this is
geometry
exactly what I
today.
wanted for my show. But for those of you watching at home and curious about parallelograms and how that translates
Stay tuned.
into just a Minotaur, I don't care. Tell me more about these Icelandic pastries. No, we're doing good, but I do want to keep everybody a little bit on schedule. So we're going
Just like
to...
the dolphins, this is real.
Oh my!
I wish I could
No,
swim.
do not bring them up. Do not bring up those
Family show.
nightmarish
This
beings.
is a family show.
Beware,
We're
guys.
talking about dolphins.
Be safe in the ocean.
So for our final round, Rodney will take us on a 60-second exposition on the subject below, which is polymorph. Rodney, talk to us for 60 seconds on the subject of polymorph with no hesitations, deviations, or repetitions, starting now.
How do you like your polymorph? I like my polymorph in the true variety. I like to become the thing I'm becoming forever and ever.
Robert, what is the nature of your challenge? Because I think you might be coming on a bit strong here.
Yes, I heard the word and buzzed, and then I realized, I added an ing on the end, and so it was not technically repetition.
Indeed,
It was
you became
repetition
too
of the word
soon.
become, and then became becoming.
Robert, gonna get burnt with a cigarette.
So, Rodney, as you gain a point for an incorrect interruption, it is remaining the subject is remaining with you of polymorph. 50 seconds, starting now.
Back to polymorph. So there was this time I drank this potion. They said not to. I did it anyway. I drank it, turned into an ant, but it was pretty.
And I think Rob, feeling the need to vindicate himself quite correctly. Rob, tell me what is the nature of
Repetition
your
of the word
interruption?
drink or drank
It
in this
certainly was. It was drank twice, and
double digits.
it is 10
I don't
points.
get so good at
has
listening.
been
You said the highest score you'd had so far was
He's going
12,
for it.
11?
He's going for
Well,
it.
I mean, that would
He's
require me to
going.
genuinely know, but I think it's of the order of 12 or so. Let's. I'm sure that one of our fans will write to us and say, "Oh, dear Mr. Man who sits in the corner in just a minute, or your highest score has actually been 14." But thank you very much, whoever you are. I love you. Hit subscribe.
It's all right. I'll go for 15. Boom. Here we go. Let's
All
help
right,
going
the
high.
challenge is 15. The game is on. The subject is polymorph. Starting now.
Polymorph, a 4th level transmutation spell in the 5th edition game of Dungeons and Dragons. It's available to.
Oh.
I was on it, but then I saw the disappointment in Becca's eyes. Becca threw me off with her shaking of the head.
This guy.
Like this guy, with his padding of his rules terms.
Back at look, I see you, boo. That was beautiful. And I'm gonna call just a slight hesitation as he's got this affirmation from our co-participant here. It was too much. It was too much.
It was too much. I was so
Teamwork,
I was so smugly proud of myself until I saw Becca, and I was like, "Oh, damn it, it threw me."
And
It was the conscience.
I was about to go into all the classes that can get polymorph, and then I was going to basically start reading out what the spell can do. And
I was genuinely worried you were going to start listing the schools of magic. It's
that would be deviation.
on, however, the matter of the challenge, a correct challenge there from Rodney, so that's well done. That's a new point for you. And with 32 seconds remaining on the subject, which returns to you, Rodney, starting now.
It is indeed a 4th level transmutation. And the thing about it is you can get it in rings, potions, staffs, wands, all kinds of different ways. But my personal favorite way is incantations.
Taylor, a
I did
razor
do
sharp
this.
challenge there.
You did.
Tell
You
me.
did do this.
I did this, and I don't know if I still feel this way. But ways.
Oh, yes, it is absolutely correct.
Oh, did you feel the pun that I just laid upon your bodies?
A little
Firebrand.
finicky, one might say, but yes, indeed. So that's correct. By the rules of Just a Minotaur, completely
I
correct
apologize for that.
Don't apologize. It was good.
Point goes across to you as you are seeking to catch up with Rob, which is going to be a Herculean challenge with 16 seconds
doable.
remaining on the clock.
Obviously, we can do this.
No.
We can do this, team.
Teamwork.
Let's just
If
keep
you
happening.
start with hello, everyone.
If you're a barbarian, you can't get polymorph. It's the truth. It says it in the book, which we all use to talk about polymorph to each other when we play the game every night.
Oh, Robert, with literally 0 seconds on the clock. Robert has put in a challenge. So,
doesn't
what is
count.
the nature of your challenge by the rules of? It's unfortunately the screen is the truth, and the truth has told me that the challenge came in possibly just before the buzzer went off. So,
Gotta catch me to catch me.
gotta catch them all. So, Rob, what is the nature of your challenge?
Hesitation.
Probably right.
Ooh.
If only it was
I
at 1
think-
second.
Oh,
I
picky.
think. Oh, what a great question. I think we're going to have to go to our extra steward here. Hold on 1 second.
Secret.
Is there actually
Right.
someone over there? Or is he just
There we
talking
go.
to himself?
Well, you'll
It's a
never
mirror.
know.
It's a mirror, and he's like,
It's a mirror.
The stewards and I have conferred, and we have opined upon this a great deal. We are not going to uphold your challenge, Rob. We feel that there wasn't a valid hesitation in this particular case, and so as a result, speaking as the buzzer went, and with an incorrect interruption, Taylor, you have 10 points.
Taylor, you
Protected
did
by
it.
the pun. Oh my
Rob.
God! I'm not supposed to do good here.
You have 10
Like
points.
bark skin. You're just like level up on it. My puns protect me.
I had to go for it because I was like, if I go for it as the buzzer hits and he accepts my, because that was terrible. Terrible way to
Pretty
win.
bad. It was
But you
pretty
weren't
bad.
technically breaking any rules quite, so I was like, I'll go for it. Put it down to the judges. If they don't go for me, then the best I've done is I've drawn first, and if they do go for me, then I've got 12 points.
Hey, if you see something,
then I've done it.
say something.
Yes.
TSA.
Indeed.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Smokey the
Protect the skies.
wrapping us up. We've had a wonderful time. Thank you so much with Rob and Taylor winning and Becca and Rodney fighting royally and with great gusto and vim. Thank you everybody for joining us from around the world and the multiverse. This has been Just a Minotaur.